I would like to have back to the podium our wonderful leader, our wonderful friend, Mary Lobby from J&L. Thank you.
I need to do, so talk amongst yourselves. Video or our favorite retired congressman, whichever? Okay. Would you like another minute to just, all right. So, as I said, my most favorite ever retired congressman, who just on time retired so he could do all kinds of things with us, is what I have continued to tell him from the minute that announcement was made, so you could reinforce that when you talk to him and thank him for all of what he's doing with Jingo now and for the next year. He has been a leader. He was such an amazing leader for all of his years in Congress on these issues. And many of you have heard me tell the story last year at a national meeting in D.C. where he showed up and won the hearts and minds of every advocate from across the country who was at that reception. And with such pride, the delegation from Massachusetts, the Jane Doe member programs and board members who were there stood with both pride and admiration for all that you've done and the person you are. So I introduce a bit probably sleepy Congressman Delahunt, our other co-chair.
Before I make a very few remarks, I want to report to you that it's colder in Boston than it is in Moscow. I literally just flew into Boston. I had been in Russia for 4 or 5 days on business, actually. Mary referenced my service in Congress, but the issue of violence against women, sexual violence, let's call it domestic violence, came to my attention when I was the district attorney in Norfolk County. Because in that role, I had the responsibility to investigate and prosecute crimes that occurred within the Massachusetts correctional facilities, including MCI Cedar Junction and MCI Norfolk. So I became very, very familiar with the social histories of the men that were incarcerated in our institution. And what struck me was, invariably, the family history of those inmates, those men, revealed that they learned violence at home. That they saw their mother or their sister being abused by someone within the family. And where is Jerry Leone? Is he here? Jerry, doing a great job at Middlesex. And what became clear to me, and I'm sure that District Attorney Leone could corroborate this statement, it became abundantly clear that if we were going to get serious about all kinds of violence, that we had to deal with this issue, because violence is a learned behavior. We men just don't parachute in. We learn it. War just doesn't happen. We learn, tragically, from role models that are men, that violence is acceptable. So every man in this room, every man in Greater Boston, every man in Massachusetts, every single male everywhere in the world has a responsibility not to abuse, not to commit violence against women, and just maybe, we as men, as males, will learn that all violence is unacceptable. That violence, whether it is international in scope, is unacceptable. Over time, maybe our DNA can be impacted by the reality that there are ways to resolve disputes, whether it's within the family or among nations, that precludes the suggestion or the hint of violence. You know, I think, too, we ought to celebrate the fact that here in Massachusetts, despite the fact that we have so much work to do, we have made progress. We truly have. I mean, the landscape, even now, tragically, is littered with women who are the victims of violence. But compared to those early days in this effort back in the 1970s, the statistics reveal that the work that is being done today is making a difference. Everyone in this room is making a difference. So I'm very proud to stand with all of these ambassadors and Jane Doe, and I will continue to work on this issue because this is an issue that I feel so strongly about, because I know that it has implications far beyond Gardner Auditorium. It goes all the way to Moscow, Russia. It goes all the way to Afghanistan. It is in every corner of the world, and it's the responsibility of men to stand up and truly be courageous and be real men.
Thank you, Congressman, so very much.